pursuit of continuous quality education.
Living up to DepEd's mandate of no student should be left behind.
From the home of Sarong Banggi,
The land of Oragons. This is Santo Domingo National High School. School on Air.
School on Air.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon Santo Domingo National High School learners, especially the grade 10 students who are tuned in right now. Welcome to another lesson episode of School on Air for grade 10 English. This is Sir Jerry from Santo Domingo National High School Junior High School Department, and I am your radio teacher for today. Before I start with the discussion of today's topic, I hope that you are 100% comfortable while listening. You can send me a smiling emoji so I can make shout-outs of you. This will be considered as your ODL attendance. Okay, so let me check those who are present for today's lesson episode. Okay, let's start from grade 10 Galileo. We have Mary Joyce, Micah, Jasmine, Eureka, and Christina. Good afternoon to you guys. And we have also from grade 10 Einstein, sorry. So we have Aliyah Kim, Joshua, Christine Joyce, Christine Joy, John, Rochelle Ann, and Avril. And from grade 10 Archimedes, we have Michaela Marie, Camila, Jelai, Alexa, and EJ. And we have also Trisha Ann and Nimwell. Good afternoon. And of course, from grade 10 Dalton. Okay, so we have only one. Rowena. Good afternoon to you, Rowena. Okay. And we have also Marinelle from grade 10 Archimedes. Good afternoon to you guys. I know that you are excited for today's lesson, but before that, I would like to think that you are doing good with God above your head and you have set yourselves physically and mentally for the tasks ahead. Okay, so I expect that you have already you're already prepared for today's discussion as I assume you have taken your personal necessities if there's any. You have been in the comfort room, you have drank your water or anything that you need to do before we start so that you'll be able to listen to me comfortably. Alright, I think everyone's ready, so let's begin. Our lesson for today is writing an exposition and discussion text on a familiar issue. After the discussion of this lesson, I expect that you will be able to familiarize yourselves with the features and differences of exposition and discussion texts and be able to write your own exposition or discussion text. I would like to remind you that you must be holding your Module 5 right now as a reference for our topic today. Likewise, I want you to prepare a pen and clean sheets of paper in case you need to jot down important notes. Later at the end of the discussions, I will give a test about the topic. You will send your answers to me through our chat group. If you don't have access to the internet or you don't have any cell phone, electronic gadget or computer, don't worry because you can still submit your answers to me during our distribution and retrieval of self-learning modules. Okay, now as a starter, I want you to look at Activity 1, page 2 of your module. The activity is entitled Urban versus Rural Life. Have you found it? Okay, now the instruction reads, in 3 to 5 sentences, write down reasons why you would prefer urban from rural life or vice versa. I repeat, in 3 to 5 sentences, write down reasons why you would prefer urban from rural life or vice versa. Like I said, if you are online, send your answers to me through our chat group, and if you're not online, it's okay. You can still include your answers to the outputs that you are going to submit this Thursday, tomorrow. Now, I will give you 2 minutes to answer this task. Again, the task is at activity number 1, page 2 of your module. Ready? Your 2 minutes starts now. Okay. So let me read a number of answers from you. So this one is from Nemuel of grade 10 Archimedes. He says, rural life seems a bit more peaceful and quiet. It also feels healthy to breathe in fresh nature air. For me, it's more favorable since we used to live in caves and marshes before we had electricity and technology. Okay, very nice answer from Nemuel. Okay. So, this one is from Rochelle Ann of grade 10 Einstein. She says, I prefer rural life than urban life because in rural living offers the opportunity to reconnect with nature. More trees and less traffic means cleaner air. Fields, forests, and streams make for great outdoor living and a healthier lifestyle. It's also refreshing to live in rural life. Okay. Also a very nice answer from Rochelle Ann. And this one is from Francis Reggie from grade 10 Einstein. He says, I prefer to live in rural than in urban. More privacy. In the countryside, there's a good chance your nearest neighbor won't be directly next door. You may not even be able to spot their home at all. You can have a bigger garden. If you've always wanted to grow your own food or have more space for children or pets, this is a huge benefit. Wow, this is a very realistic answer from Francis Reggie. Right from his very own experience, I think. Okay. Okay, so, class, those were quite convincing answers, weren't they? I will not be surprised if most of you prefer rural life because of wonderful things from nature that it offers. Nonetheless, some people enjoy city life because they love the rush, and with that, they feel more alive. Now, by stating your reasons in that activity, are you aware that you are actually writing an exposition or discussion text? So, what do we mean by exposition and discussion text? If you are following, the definition is found on page 4 up to page 7 of your module. It reads, an exposition persuades a reader or listener by presenting one side of an argument by taking a point of view and justifying it. The word persuade means to convince, and by exposition, we aim to convince others to see only one side of an issue, that one which we take side on. Exposition texts, like argumentative essays, are composed of 3 parts, namely, introductory statement of position, or in short, introduction, series of logical arguments, or in short, arguments, and conclusion that reinforces or summarizes the writer's point of view. On the other hand, discussion texts present differing opinions, viewpoints, or perspectives on an issue, enabling the reader to explore different ideas before making an informed decision. The writer normally explores different opinions and ends with a personal opinion or comment. The structure of discussion text greatly resembles that of exposition text. We have introductory statement, which gives the background information, arguments, and a recommendation or conclusion. If you are familiar with debates, the same parts are also being applied. It will be hard for you to convince others or discuss an issue if one or two of these parts are missing. Now, exposition and discussion texts are also distinctive from one another with the use of language features and organizational patterns. Language features are basically the choice of words that surface more in the text. I repeat, language features are basically the choice of words that surface more in the text. Here are some of them. We have abstract nouns and technical words, emotive words or words that express emotion, evaluative language, reported speech, use of present tense, use of factual adjectives, use of comparing and contrasting adjectives, and use of word chains, synonyms, antonyms, and repetition for effect. Some examples are right there in your module. Meanwhile, organizational pattern refers to how the writer organizes his thoughts to make his or her point. I repeat, organizational pattern refers to how the writer organizes his thoughts to make his or her point. The issue at hand is the top consideration in choosing the organizational pattern to be used. Here are some of the organizational patterns used in exposition and discussion text. We have description. In this pattern, the author describes a topic by listing characteristics, features, and examples. I repeat, description. In this pattern, the author describes a topic by listing characteristics, features, and examples. For example, if you are writing about COVID-19, you have to describe it by incorporating facts based on your experiences, or better, based on reliable sources. Another is sequence, in which the author lists items or events in numerical or chronological order. I repeat, sequence is the author's way of listing items or events in numerical or chronological order. An example of this is when you are discussing about a history of your topic. It is best to do this by supporting it with facts. You should not invent a story. I repeat, you should not invent a story. And another one is comparison. The author explains how two or more things are alike and or how they are different. I repeat, comparison is the author's way of explaining how two or more things are alike and or how they are different. When you compare, you are basically citing the similarities and differences of two or more things. But remember, compare only their features that are relevant to the point that you want to make. I repeat, compare only their features that are relevant to the point that you want to make. We have also cause and effect. In this pattern, the author lists one or more causes and the resulting effect or effects. I repeat, cause and effect. In this pattern, the author lists one or more causes and the resulting effect or effects. An example of this is writing a text about global warming. Just make sure that the causes and effects you include are factual and accurate. Then we have the problem solution pattern, in which the author states a problem and lists one or more solutions. The problem solution pattern, I repeat, is in which the author states a problem and lists one or more solutions. A variation of this pattern is the question and answer format, which basically poses a question, then answers it. This is one of the most common ways to make a point in a discussion. After all, there is nothing to discuss if there is no problem. More importantly, a solution to offer should be realistic and achievable so that you can easily convince other people. Now, these organizational patterns can be better understood by the graphic organizers or word webs that authors are using to brainstorm their ideas before engaging into writing. So you can see some of these graphic organizers in your module. Okay, let us review the features of exposition and discussion texts. We have structure, language features, and organizational patterns. As part of the wrap-up activity, we will have a simple task. Again, if you are online, send me your answers through our chat group so that you can earn extra points. For those who are not online, don't worry because you can still submit to me during the distribution and retrieval of modules as scheduled. So, here is your task. Listen very carefully. In at least 5 sentences, explain why there is a need to consider the features of exposition and discussion texts. Again, in at least 5 sentences, explain why there is a need to consider the features of exposition and discussion texts. I will give you 2 minutes to answer. Ready? Your 2 minutes starts now. Alright. So, I think some of you are not yet ready to submit their answers, but okay. So, we have one. Okay, this is from Nimwell, from grade 10 Archimedes. Okay, so Nimwell seems to be a very active and diligent student. Very good, Nimwell. So, Nimwell says, we can differentiate them from each other. We can also tell their differences, and we can also tell their similarities. And we can show them on our perspective or point, and for the listener or readers to clearly understand their difference and similarities. So that's the answer of Nimwell on the question why there is a need to consider the features of exposition and discussion text. So very good, Nimwell. Okay, so do not say you are wrong. There's no wrong answer here. Okay? Very good, Nimwell. Okay. So, Nimwell saves the day because the rest, I think, are not yet ready. Okay, but anyway, congratulations to Nimwell, who was able to submit his answers through Messenger. I'm still waiting for the others. Or, you can just submit your answers to me tomorrow. Write it on a sheet of paper. Then just submit your answers to me tomorrow. So, nevertheless, you will still get your extra point for that. Okay? Okay, now, this will be your last activity for this episode. I will consider this as an important performance task. Okay, so I repeat, this is a very important performance task, which I expect all of you will submit. Okay, please take note of this. Okay, this activity that I'm going to give is a very important performance task for me. So I'm expecting every one of you will submit this. Okay, anyway, you can take a deep breath because you will submit this performance task tomorrow during the distribution and retrieval of modules. No need to submit this today in our chat group, okay? So, okay, that's the cue sound or cue music. Are you ready? Here it is. Listen well. In at least 200 words, write an exposition or discussion text about fake news in the country. I repeat, in at least 200 words, write an exposition or discussion text about fake news in the country. Remember to apply the essential features, elements, and structure discussed earlier. Use bond paper or pad paper for this. Okay, I repeat, in at least 200 words, write an exposition or discussion text about fake news in the country. Remember to apply the essential features, elements, and structure discussed earlier. Use bond paper or pad paper for this. Now, if you want your write-up to be more convincing, I am encouraging you to use reliable sources. But don't forget to cite them. Okay? Do not forget to cite them or to recognize them. By recognizing them, by citing them, you are giving credits to them. Okay? So, you're just sharing their studies or researches if you consider them as studies or researches. So do not forget to cite them. And in that way, you are also avoiding plagiarism. Okay? So you're not committing plagiarism if you cite these sources. Again, you will submit this performance task during the distribution and retrieval of modules tomorrow. Okay? Do not wait for the next Thursday after tomorrow. Because the 3 modules I gave you last week is, that's true, it's good for 2 weeks, but the activity that I've just given you today will be submitted tomorrow. Okay? So, that's all for today. It has been another awesome day of learning. I hope that you enjoyed today's radio-based lesson episode. Until next time, this has been your radio teacher, Sir Jerry, saying, good use of language is the key to a beautiful message. And remember, if you want to be known or be heard, be an English language nerd. Bye!